Have you ever stopped to consider the genealogy of Jesus as presented in the New Testament? Why are there discrepancies, and what could those mean? The genealogy of Jesus, an integral part of Christian theology, is a topic often steeped in intrigue and debate. Intriguingly, the Gospels of Matthew and Luke present two distinct genealogies for Jesus. Matthew traces Jesus' lineage through Joseph, while Luke takes a different route, tracing it through Mary. This presents a fascinating conundrum. The two genealogies don't quite align, casting a shadow of doubt over their accuracy and reliability. This discordance between the two accounts is not a trivial matter. It has the potential to raise questions about the credibility of the genealogies and the theological implications they hold. So we find ourselves at an interesting crossroad, navigating the intriguing labyrinth of biblical genealogy. These discrepancies raise questions about the accuracy and reliability of these genealogies. So, what do we know about the historical evidence supporting these genealogies? Well, the genealogies of Jesus, as portrayed in the New Testament, largely hinge on oral tradition and written records. Now here's the rub: these sources may be marred by memory lapses, embellishments, or even deliberate alterations. The lack of external evidence supporting these genealogies further raises eyebrows. Where are the corroborating historical documents? The archaeological findings, the independent accounts? They are unfortunately scant. This dearth of evidence casts a long shadow of doubt over the validity of these genealogies. Are they reliable historical records or products of faith-based storytelling? It's a question that has intrigued scholars and laymen alike for centuries. This isn't to dismiss the genealogies outright, but it's worth noting that faith and history don't always march hand in hand. The lack of historical evidence certainly adds another layer of complexity to the discussion. Now let's delve into the theological implications of Jesus' genealogy. The genealogies in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke are not merely historical records, they are theological statements. They serve to establish Jesus' royal lineage, tracing his roots back to King David and therefore fulfilling Old Testament prophecies of a Messiah descending from David's line. This connection to David is crucial in presenting Jesus as the long-awaited Messiah in Christian tradition. However, this very purpose has led some critics to argue that the genealogies might have been constructed or even manipulated to fit theological agendas. They suggest that the genealogies were designed to validate Jesus as the Messiah, rather than to accurately reflect his ancestry. This perspective posits that the genealogies are more about theology than biology, more about divine purpose than human lineage. So, the theological implications of Jesus' genealogy can be a contentious issue. It's a fascinating intersection of faith, history, and interpretation that continues to spark debate among scholars and believers alike. What role does cultural context play in understanding Jesus' genealogy? To answer this, we first need to travel back in time and step into the shoes of ancient Jewish society, where genealogies held immense significance. They were not merely a list of names, but a roadmap to one's social standing and inheritance rights. A person's lineage could influence their reputation, their opportunities, and their place in the community. Fast forward to today, where society has drastically changed. The importance of lineage has diminished, and individual accomplishment takes precedence. Does this shift in societal values alter the significance of Jesus' genealogy in determining his identity as the Messiah? Some might say yes, arguing that our modern lens may not fully grasp the weight that genealogies once held. Others might say no, asserting that the essence of Jesus' message transcends societal norms. In our modern world, the significance of lineage might not be as pronounced, but it still plays a key role in understanding historical texts. To sum up, the genealogies of Jesus presented in the New Testament are a complex issue with many facets to consider. We've delved into the inconsistencies between the genealogies found in the Gospels of Matthew and Luke, highlighting the divergence in tracing Jesus' lineage through Joseph and Mary. We've also scrutinized the lack of historical evidence, acknowledging that these genealogies are largely based on oral tradition and written records that may not necessarily hold up to rigorous historical scrutiny. We've considered the theological implications, discussing how these genealogies were possibly constructed or manipulated to fit theological agendas, rather than accurately reflecting Jesus' ancestry. And we've examined the cultural context, questioning the relevance of genealogies in determining Jesus' identity as the Messiah in modern times, where the lineage holds less sway. Despite these challenges, the genealogies of Jesus remain a significant aspect of Christian theology and tradition, and scholars continue to debate their historical accuracy and theological implications.